Hello everyone, welcome back to the Dork Side. I'm the Dork on the road and I am angry right now. And I want you to benefit from my frustration. So I'm going to tell you a little story about when you know it's time to walk away from a bad motorcycle deal. That's right everyone, I'm the Dork on the road and I want to be your internet riding buddy, so please consider subscribing. And don't forget to turn on those notifications so that you know when I post awesome new content just like this. The best day in a motorcycle rider's life is a little day I like to call New Bike Day. Today was New Bike Day. I've been looking for a certain motorcycle for a while. I've been messaging a few people with no success, and today, this morning, I messaged a guy in Portland, about an hour away, and we made a deal. I made an offer, he made a counter offer, I accepted it. All was good. I was pretty excited to go pick up my new motorcycle. I was like picking out the mods I was gonna put on it, trying to budget the build, making a list today, all day, and then, well, I don't have a new bike in my garage right now. And I just got home. Normally when I make a video I have notes and I've pre-prepared myself. This is just a fresh, raw, off the cuff, in the hopes that you can learn from my mistakes, my bad experience, or that you don't get caught up in the situation and make the wrong decision. I think I made the right one. So let me play you a little clip. This is from earlier when we were leaving, just so you can get a sense of how excited I was about this bike and going to pick up this bike. Today, once again, it's the greatest day of the year. It's New Bike Day.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Say New Bike Day.
New Bike Day!
No, say it when I'm looking.
New Bike Day!
New Bike Day!
You want me to say it again?
She's not playing along very well.
New Bike Day!
So we are going to head up to Portland, about an hour and a half drive, and we are going to pick up a new bike, and you are going to find out what it is much quicker than that because I'm not going to run the camera the whole time. It's New Bike Day!
New Bike Day!
So that was about 4 hours ago. Lil Dork was going with me, got in the truck, went to the ATM, got out the money we needed, cash in the hand. In fact, it's still in my pocket. I told you I made the deal. We were all set. Everything looked good. Let me just tell you a couple things about the deal. I'm just going to read you a few things from his ad. Actually, I'm just going to read you the last sentence. Very low miles and clean title is what he said. I, in my messaging him, said, it sounds like a deal. The price, I feel good about it. As long as you don't mind me riding it up and down the street a little bit, I'm in. Also, you have the title in hand, right? He said, yes. Sorry, this is going to be a little rambly. So we drive to Portland. It's an hour and 10 minutes from here. It's pouring down rain. No, that's really relevant to the story. I just wanted you to know that, 'cause reasons. He brings out the bike, looks really clean, very clean bike. Exactly what I'm looking for. I'm like, can we start it up? He says, absolutely. Turn the key, doesn't start on the first button push, starts on the second. Check engine light is on. But he's got this aftermarket exhaust, and I'm like, what's up with the check engine light? And he's like, well, this aftermarket exhaust doesn't have the O2 sensor. I have some experience with this particular model of bike, and I do know that that is a thing, so I looked and it wasn't there. So the check engine light thing may have been legit. That was like a minor red flag, but not enough to like, it wasn't a deal breaker at that point. I was like, can I write it? He said, sure. I was like, here's the cash. So I handed it to him, rode around the block, was a little sputtery. I'm familiar with this type of motorcycle, and they can be like that when they first start up. And it had been sitting for a while. The guy hasn't been riding it. That's pretty obvious. So again, minor red flag, wasn't a deal breaker. So I go around the block, come back, and I'm like, you know what? I'm in. The price is good. A couple minor issues that I know I could fix. I'm ready to go. And I said, will you sign a bill of sale? He said yes. So I got my bill of sale, handed it to him. I was like, do you have the title? He says yes. He goes inside, comes back out. The title is twice as big as it should be. Because in Oregon, our titles are this big, right? And this title was a full sheet of paper. So alarm bells are going off in my head. And I was like, what is this? The thing, certificate of origin? See, whatever. Like sometimes when you get a brand new bike, you have a certificate of manufacturer. I think that's it. Thought maybe that was it, even though this is a 2014, so that makes no sense. It wasn't it. It's a Montana title. The title is from Montana. Our earlier two red flags were minor red flags. This is a big one. Out-of-state title, and he didn't tell me that he had an out-of-state title. I'm like, out-of-state title, Montana. He's like, oh yeah. And in my head I'm thinking, okay, it's not a big deal as long as it's in his name, right? And then I look at the name on the title, it's not in his name. It's already signed, not in his name. So I was like, this isn't your name. He says, well, right, I bought it from the guy, and he signed it, and I just never got it transferred into my name. And already my wheels are turning a little. First of all, when you buy an out-of-state bike in Oregon, you have to take it in and have a VIN inspection done before you can get an Oregon title. That's a massive pain in the ass right now because of COVID. So, red flag number 2. The title is not in his name, and it's not in the name of the guy he bought it from. It's in the name of the guy he bought it from. Okay. Big red flags. Now, just for the record, I'm not saying that this motorcycle was stolen. I'm not saying this guy was trying to defraud me. He was a young guy. My guess is he bought it from somebody who told him it was fine. But the thing I'm upset about is that I didn't know all this before I drove up there. I didn't know all this before I put my kid in the car and drove an hour in the rain up the freeway to pick up this bike. So I have a title that is at least 2 degrees of separation, and I'm like, okay. What I did was I called McLovin, because as you know, McLovin is a police officer. So I figured he would, and he buys and sells a lot of cars, so he's kind of my title and license expert. And we're talking through it a little bit, and basically the conclusion is if I don't have a paper trail that I can prove that the person whose name is on that title sold it to 2 other people before it was sold to me, it's going to be a real situation when I get to the DMV. So that, combined with the fact that there was going to have to be a VIN inspection, and I'm like, nah, I'm thinking maybe I'm not buying this bike tonight. And keeping in mind, I'm fighting 2 major factors. If this is supposed to be a learn from my experience, here's 2 things to be aware of when you're in this situation. 1, I get very excited and get my heart set on things. When I think I'm getting something, I will illogically ignore red flags between me and it, okay? So, I wanted that bike. That bike in my head was already mine. I was planning on riding it tomorrow. I was planning on riding it around in the dark and the rain when I got home. So I'm fighting against that, okay? And I'm fighting against the sunken cost fallacy, because I already drove an hour, I've already got the money out, all these things I've already done, right? That I already made the deal, I'm gonna have to start from scratch, but it's too many red flags. So these are things you gotta look out for when you go and buy a used bike. When things are not disclosed to you that are crucial factors in the decision whether or not to buy something, that's a red flag. So if you're a new rider, or you're thinking about buying your first bike or whatever, these are things people need to tell you before you show up. And if they don't tell you, if you're surprised by things like this, you should be suspicious. You should be suspicious. Okay? Again, I'm not saying this guy was trying to screw me over. I legitimately think it was ignorance. I think it was ignorance. I think he bought it from a friend who bought it from a friend, and nobody ever bothered to put the title in their name because there were a bunch of kids that didn't know any better or whatever. I legitimately think he had claim to that bike. But the problem is, if I bought it, I would have to unravel all of the steps between the actual official owner and me in order to get official ownership of this bike. Because I'm not going to do the same thing that this guy did to me to the next guy, right? I'm going to unravel that. It's going to be on the up and up. I'm not going to be riding around with a motorcycle that I can't prove to the police officer who pulls me over that I own. So I didn't buy it. What actually happened was, it's Saturday. I told him, you know what, I just want to talk to DMV and see what the protocol here is, and I'll call him on Monday. And I got my money back and I left. On the way home, I basically decided I'm not buying it. So I'm going to message him in the morning and just let him know that I'm going to pass, but I want to let him know as soon as possible so that he's not holding it for me or anything that's preventing him from selling it. Let's go over the red flags again. Check engine light, not disclosed. Didn't really want to start, but again, I know it's been sitting. So again, those 2 things by themselves, maybe not a deal breaker depending on how mechanically savvy you feel. His ad says clean title. That is not a clean title, okay? It's clean in that there's not a loan on it, it's not a lien holder, but it is not a clean title. If you say clean title, it sure as hell better have your name on it and be for the state you're living in. If it isn't, that is not a clean title, that is a very dirty title, okay? So, it was not a clean title. So, dishonesty, or at least misleading, okay? Maybe it wasn't purposeful, maybe it wasn't malicious, but it was misleading, okay? So, when you show up and things are not the way you were led to believe they would be concerned. All right, so that's a problem. Not in his name. Doesn't have a bill of sale from when he bought it. Doesn't have a bill of sale from when the guy before him bought it. And that's the thing. If I had a bill of sale with this guy's name on it and the guy whose name was on the title, right? Then I could go to DMV and be like, here's the title signed off. He sold it to this guy. Here's proof. And then here's my bill of sale. That's still a pain in the ass, but at least there is proof. I didn't have that. And then he's calling his friend and he's like, do you have those text messages from the guy you bought it from? That is not proof of purchase. Okay? Like, maybe I'm just old or whatever. Maybe that's how the kids do it nowadays via text, but give me a bill of sale and a freaking title before I'm going to give you thousands of dollars and leave with your property, which is supposed to be my property. Tell me in the comments, has this happened to you? What would you have done in that situation? It's frustrating. I'm frustrated. So I have to start this hunt all over again. And I do not have my new bike that I was all excited to start building on. So y'all are going to have to wait a little bit longer to find out what it is. Because I sure as hell don't want to jinx it now, since I've had this bad luck. I got too excited posting on Instagram, new bike day, and it ended up not being new bike day. Jinx myself, so I'm not going to do that next time. Not until it's in my hand. Frustrating night. Anyway, sorry, not the typical video. No cool riding footage or anything. Just me, angry, upset, disappointed in my garage. Well, thank you for watching. If you made it this far, I'm impressed at your tenacity. And hope to see you in the next video. But for now, and as always, I just want to say thank you very much for watching, and please do not forget to be excellent to each other. Thank you.
Excellent!
So pissed right now.